Commander Zektar's mandibles clicked in amusement as he watched the primitive human vessel dock at Station Nexus 7. The ship was a patchwork of mismatched hull plating, welded joints that looked like scars across its surface, and exhaust ports that leaked plasma in ways that would make any respectable engineer weep. Beside him, his flight officers chittered with barely contained laughter. "That's their entry?" Subcommander Raxel gestured dismissively with one of his forearms. "It looks like it was assembled from scrap metal by blind juveniles." The human pilot emerged from his ship, and the mockery intensified. He was young by human standards, perhaps 25 standard cycles, with dark hair and eyes that seemed to take in everything around him with quiet intensity. He wore a simple flight suit patched in several places, and his boots had seen better decades. "Captain Marcus Chen," he introduced himself to the registration desk, his voice steady despite the obvious disdain radiating from the assembled pilots around him. The Galactic Racing Circuit's Void Runner Championship was the most prestigious speed competition in known space. Ships from 12 different species would compete in a grueling course through the Kepler Nebula, navigating asteroid fields, gravitational anomalies, and plasma storms that had claimed countless vessels over the years. The winner would claim not just the trophy, but a prize of 10 million credits and the respect of the entire galaxy. Commander Zektar approached the human with predatory grace. His species, the Velkari, had dominated racing circuits for 3 centuries with their genetically enhanced reflexes and quantum-entangled nervous systems. "Human," he said, the word dripping with condescension. "Perhaps you took a wrong turn. The cargo hauler registration is on level 47. Marcus looked up at the towering alien, noting the ceremonial racing tattoos that marked Zektar as a 5-time champion. "No, sir, I'm here to race." The entire hangar erupted in laughter. The crystalline Chardani tinkled like wind chimes. The gaseous nebula created small atmospheric disturbances with their mirth, and even the usually stoic Titanic showed their amusement by slowly changing the color of their metallic skin. "Your ship," Raxel managed between fits of laughter, "doesn't even have proper quantum drives. We clocked your approach velocity at barely 17% light speed. My leisure craft moves faster than that rust bucket." Marcus said nothing, simply nodded politely and walked toward the pre-race inspection area. Behind him, the aliens continued their ridicule, placing bets on how quickly his ship would disintegrate once the race began. The inspection mechanic, a multi-eyed creature from the Kepler system, looked over Marcus's ship with professional skepticism. "Human, I am required by regulation to ask, are you certain this vessel is spaceworthy?" "She'll hold together," Marcus replied, running his hand along the ship's hull with obvious affection. "The Defiant has never let me down." "Defiant?" "An appropriate name for delusion," Zektar commented as he passed, his own ship a sleek masterpiece of Velkari engineering that seemed to bend light around its perfect curves. Race day arrived with the pomp and ceremony befitting the galaxy's premier racing event. Millions of beings across hundreds of worlds would watch as the finest pilots tested their skills against the most dangerous course ever devised. The racers took their positions at the starting line, 12 ships representing the pinnacle of their respective civilizations' technology. Except for one, the Defiant looked even more pathetic next to the gleaming vessels around it. Zektar's ship hummed with barely contained energy, its quantum cores already beginning to warp space-time around its hull. The Chardani entry sparkled like a living jewel, its crystalline structure designed to phase through solid matter. The Nebula Racer existed in 3 dimensions simultaneously, its gaseous form allowing it to slip through spaces that would trap conventional vessels. "Racers, prepare for launch," the station announcer's voice echoed across subspace. "Course markers are active. Remember, this is a race, not a demolition derby. Try to bring your pilots back alive." The starting horn sounded, and 11 ships exploded forward in a symphony of exotic propulsion systems. They disappeared into the nebula in mere seconds, leaving only ion trails and gravitational distortions. The Defiant remained motionless for a full 10 seconds. Across the galaxy, viewers assumed the human ship had malfunctioned. Betting pools closed early, paying out to those who had wagered on an immediate human failure. Station Nexus 7's control room fell silent, waiting for the inevitable distress call. Then Marcus Chen smiled and reached for a small, unremarkable switch hidden beneath his control panel. The Defiant's engines didn't just ignite, they screamed. The ship's entire frame shuddered as systems that had been carefully disguised as standard human technology revealed their true nature. The patchwork hull plating fell away like discarded clothing, revealing a sleek, mirror-bright surface underneath. The crude welding joints separated to expose elegant heat dissipation channels. The leaking exhaust ports sealed themselves and were replaced by drive nozzles that began channeling energies that made nearby sensors scream warnings. "What in the void?" Zektar's voice crackled over the comm as his instruments detected massive energy readings behind him. The Defiant shot forward like a bullet fired from the hand of an angry god. It didn't accelerate. It simply was suddenly moving at a velocity that made the other racers look stationary. The ship tore through the nebula's outer layer in a fraction of the time it had taken the other contestants, its passage creating a tunnel of displaced gases that wouldn't settle for hours. "Impossible," breathed the Shardani pilot as the human ship overtook her crystalline racer as if it were standing still. No primitive technology can generate that much thrust. Marcus's voice came over the general comm channel, calm and professional. "Control, this is Defiant. Approaching first checkpoint. Please have medical teams standing by at the finish line." "Medical teams?" the announcer asked. "Are you experiencing difficulties?" "No, sir. But I imagine some of the other pilots might be experiencing severe ego trauma when I lap them." And lap them he did, as the other racers struggled through the asteroid field, using their advanced maneuvering systems and exotic technologies to thread between the floating rocks. The Defiant simply punched straight through. Its hull no longer disguised absorbed impacts that should have destroyed it, and continued forward without even slowing down. When Zektar finally reached the finish line, in second place for the first time in his career, he found Marcus Chen sitting on his ship's wing, casually eating what appeared to be a sandwich. "How?" was all the Velkari champion managed to say. Marcus grinned, taking another bite of his sandwich. "Well, Commander, there's something about humans you should probably know. We don't just build ships, we build deceptions. Every primitive component on the Defiant is actually a piece of technology your species hasn't even theorized yet. We just made them look like junk." He gestured to his ship, which was now openly displaying its true capabilities. "Humans learned a long time ago that being underestimated is the greatest tactical advantage in the universe. While you were all busy showing off your fancy quantum drives and dimensional phases, we were busy making our ship look like it belonged in a scrapyard." Zektar stared at the human ship with new understanding. "The energy readings, the velocity, controlled fusion containment, gravity wave manipulation, and a few other tricks we picked up along the way," Marcus said cheerfully. "Turns out that when you spend a few centuries having everyone call you primitive, you get really good at proving them wrong." As the other racers limped across the finish line, their pilots learned a valuable lesson about assumptions. The award ceremony was notably quiet, with Marcus Chen accepting his trophy amid respectful silence rather than the usual fanfare. From that day forward, human ships were never again dismissed as primitive relics, and Marcus Chen, he retired from racing, bought a small planet with his prize money, and opened a flight school with a simple motto painted above the entrance: "They'll underestimate you exactly once." The Defiant now sits in the Galactic Racing Hall of Fame, its true capabilities still largely a mystery. Tour guides tell visitors that human engineering remains classified, but they're missing the real point. It wasn't the engineering that won that race. It was the wisdom to let others underestimate what humans could achieve when properly motivated. And humans, as the galaxy learned that day, are always properly motivated when someone says they can't do something.